If you could see like in this crystal ball, do you think things are going to continue to expand here in Utah?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't see things not expanding in Utah. Utah is like one of the very best places for jobs and community, and people are coming to Utah from so many states.
So you got family and opportunity and just overall growth.
Yes.
I think it's a desirable place to raise a family.
Yes. I have so many clients that have been coming from Texas, and I've been asking them why.
See, and I love Texas.
I know, and they love it. They said
Yeah.
Texas is a great place to be born, that so many people have told me this, but not a great place to raise your family right now.
Okay.
And I was like, interesting. And so I have lots of people coming from Texas, and they're just like, we love Utah's community. Like, this is where we want our kids to be raised.
The thing I love about Salt Lake and Utah County is there's such a variety of housing and communities and just different activities for your family to participate in.
Yes, so many. And I feel like there's so many, like every community has their own like culture of family and different events that they do, and the people in that community just like rally together.
Yeah, your kids have gotten involved in some fun activities.
Yes.
That's brought your community close.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, this is Leslie Moss, and I met her in 2014. We both lived in South Jordan at the time, and she was one of my neighbors that reached out to me, and I loved her because she introduced me to the Salad Lady group.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Salad Lady group was awesome. I haven't done that again in my new neighborhood, but basically we got, I don't know, 7 or 8 women together that were working from home or staying at home. And every week we would pick a day and make salads for every single person in the group and drop them off. So you do that one day, and then the rest of the week, a salad would show up at your door. So you always had something to eat for lunch.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I loved it.
And I would say 95% of the time, I loved the salads.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think people really cared and like actually made them good, not just.
They really put thought into it, and it was fun. It was so fun to get a surprise every morning for lunch.
Yeah, I loved it too. I need to start that
great.
again. I'm glad you reminded me.
Yeah, so that was way fun to build community, and she helped me find some network and friends.
Good.
And it was awesome. And then she was there for a few years, and then you are
I'm a loan officer.
a loan officer.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for this is my 25th year.
25 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's awesome.
How did you end up with that?
My uncle called me when I was in college and was just like, hey, do you want to come work for me? And I lived in Logan. He lived in Salt Lake. And I'm like, thought about it. I was like, sure. So I went and he trained me everything I knew, and I ended up loving it. And I never turned back. And I've been doing it for 25 years.
So was that your initial plan, is to go into
That was
loans?
not my initial plan. I think at that time I didn't have a plan. I think I was pretty new into college, maybe 2 years into college, didn't really know what I wanted to do, just taking classes. And so when he offered me the job, I was like, sure, I'll take that. And it just turned out that way. So
That's awesome.
I feel like it's like the job meant for me. Like I love it so much.
So you worked for him for how many years?
I only worked for him for about 2 years, and then he taught me everything. He was hard to work for. Love him now. We're great friends now, but he was really difficult to work for. And so I moved around a little bit, and then actually he ended up coming and working at my company.
Really?
So, yeah.
So you
Circle of
own
life.
your own?
I don't own my own company. I run a branch at my company now,
branch.
and so he came and worked with me.
And he still works with you?
He just moved as well. So I feel like the loan business, people move for different reasons.
Yes.
But so he doesn't work with me anymore, but we have a great relationship, and he taught me everything I know.
So there's so many different types of loans out there. Can you kind of give a variety of what type of loans you help people apply for?
Yeah, so there are so many different types of loans out there. The most normal traditional loans are FHA, VA if you're a veteran, conventional, and USDA if you're willing to live in a rural area. But lots of people don't fit in those boxes. So you can do like a bank statement loan if you write off too much of your income, or you can do a no income loan at all if you need to buy an investment property, and then the investment property rents can take place of the income. There's just a lot of different programs that are around. There's really lots of people think they don't qualify, but there's usually a box that you'll fit into.
So there's so many different avenues. You just have to be willing to figure them out.
Yeah. So I talk to the client, get their information. look at all their financials, and we pretty much immediately know like if they're going to fit into the traditional box. And if they don't fit into the traditional box, we present all the programs that they will qualify for. And there's different interest rates or different terms, lots of different things that you have to take in consideration and see if that's something that feels like a good fit for you. Every single loan has a different set of guidelines, and so we fit you with the very best.
So you're probably learning constantly, right?
Yeah, it's ever changing. I've been doing it so long. There's so much knowledge that I've already built up and just know. I have a friend that just got into the business, and I did her loan before, and she's like, I love your job, I'm going to do it. So she went and got my job, and now she texts me. She's like, your job is so hard. There's so much to know. And I was like, at the beginning, it is so hard, but you just like build on information that it.
So you just kind of bank all of these questions or potential issues that could arise. So you just know what to ask.
Every single person's loan is different. Every single person makes income a different way or wants to buy a house a different way. And so every loan is different. There's no two loans that are alike. And so sometimes I might get stumped up and be like, let me call you back on that. I've got to research that and figure it out, because like guidelines for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are thousands and thousands of pages. Like there's just so many rules. And so you might just fit in. We just got to figure out what they allow.
Yeah. And that can change often.
Yes. They change their guidelines regularly. Yes. So it's ever learning knowledge.
So you've been a loan officer like through the rise of the early 2000s to the slump. Like, you've just seen the roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster for sure. Yeah. Okay. And I always say I'm a lifer. I'm in it forever. I love it so much. And I'll stick through it. Lots of people, I think over the past 2 years, it's been really rough for mortgages.
Okay.
And I think that they said over 50% of our industry has left. So 50% of loan officers have left the business just because it's hard to stick through the hard times.
Yeah, but you helped us out with our loan. Yeah. And you said that this is a really good time. So I'm just banking on this, right?
Yes.
And so you kind of were anticipating a shift in the market.
Yes. Definitely.
Is that what you would call it?
Yeah, we kind of watch things a little bit, and you never know what's going to happen. There's different things that could happen politically or interest rates. Like things change so much, and we just we listen to the experts and watch the forecasts and
just try to make good
do the best we can.
Calls.
But it can change overnight. Today could be like tomorrow. Something could happen that would affect our opinion of today. So it just changes.
So during COVID, did you see a lot of people purchasing homes?
Yeah. So at the beginning of COVID, it was like everyone stopped buying completely because they were everyone was scared. And we had all these regulations where people couldn't like go into houses the 6 feet apart. And so people just stopped buying completely.
It got to be so weird.
It got to be so weird. So purchases for a few months in there were like actually almost non-existent. Really? I mean, there were still some. But refinances went crazy, and because the interest rates during COVID went to the lowest levels that we've ever seen.
Oh yeah, we did so good.
Yes, you got a great rate.
We got a great rate. We were so excited.
So during that time, there was tons of refinances, and then people did start. The guidelines with COVID started loosening up, and people started feeling more comfortable going into people's houses and checking them out and buying. But it was a crazy time.
But things have just, would you say, kind of been on an upward trend since then?
Yeah, for buying houses, yeah, definitely. And people rates have recently in the last couple of years gotten the highest that they've been. And so people were waiting for rates to go down, but then they kind of didn't really go down quickly. And so it kind of became the new normal for people to be like, okay, well, I still need to buy a house. Let's just take the rate. And
so if you could see like in this crystal ball, do you think things are going to continue to expand here in Utah?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I don't see things not expanding in Utah. Utah is like one of the very best places for jobs and community, and people are coming to Utah from so many states.
So you got family and opportunity and just overall growth.
Yes.
I think it's a desirable place to raise a family.
Yes. I have so many clients that have been coming from Texas, and I've been asking them why.
See, and I love Texas.
I know, and they love it. They said Texas is a great place to be born, that so many people have told me this, but not a great place to raise your family right now. Okay. And I was like, interesting. And so I have lots of people coming from Texas, and they're just like, we love Utah's community. Like, this is where we want our kids to be raised.
The thing I love about Salt Lake and Utah County is there's such a variety of housing and communities and just different activities for your family to participate in.
Yes, so many. And I feel like there's so many, like every community has their own like culture of of family and different events that they do, and the people in that community just like rally together.
Yeah, your kids have gotten involved in some fun activities.
Yes.
That's brought your community close.
Yes.
That's awesome. So our kids have too, and it's so fun to just find pockets of people that kind of meet you where you're at, but want to build a future here too.
Yeah. What I love is like, I feel like when we were kids, maybe it was different for you, but like there wasn't so many opportunities to do things. Like I remember my brothers doing sports, but I don't really, and my sister did dance, but now like there's just like so many things. If you want to do horses, there's a community for that. My kids are in theater and music, and there's just like so many different opportunities to gain community.
So we had a unique situation when you helped us with our loan. When you are a small business owner, you told me that you generally have to wait 24 months before you can qualify for a loan. Can you kind of talk about what a loan for a small business owner looks like?
Yeah. So business owners, you need a loan with self-employment income. And self-employment income can be really tricky because most businesses fail within the first few years. And so it's hard for someone to come to me and say, well, I just started this business 6 months ago. Look at how much money I've made. Well, according to the statistics, there's a good chance your business isn't going to last. And so the lenders are very cautious. They are giving you money for these beautiful homes, and they want you to succeed. They do not want you to get into this house and then all of a sudden you don't make enough money, you can't make your payments, and then they have to foreclose on you. Yeah. And so they're very strict on their guidelines, and they want to make sure that you have 2 years of employment, because if you've been in for 2 years, you're more likely to succeed than if you've been in less than that. And so a 2-year history of seeing your tax returns for 2 years is what the lenders generally want to see.
That's cool. I felt like when we were applying for our mortgage, we kind of went through the ringer because we were going to go with our initial credit union and things were great. And we gave them a ton of information and pretty much you're good to go. And then we were about 6 weeks into it and I got a phone call and they're like, we applied for the wrong loan. Do you remember me calling
I
you?
remember that.
And I was so frustrated because it becomes like a part-time job.
Right.
Just
There's so much stuff you need to provide. And it's stressful because you really want the property. Like you found the perfect property for you. And so you want to make sure that the financing is good, and it's a stressful time.
So it was crazy. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to call Leslie, my cute little salad lady. And I was like, we're going to get this figured out. But you helped me within like 3 weeks pull off a jumbo loan.
Yeah.
And
made it happen.
It was crazy.
Yeah. You just like, the thing is, like, lots of people get told no. Like you got told no, all of a sudden they're like, oh shoot, we can't help you. Just because one person tells you no in the loan world does not mean that everyone will tell you no. Like there's so many different loan programs, and like your credit union has a box of guidelines, and they're like, this is where we go. And you might have been good on everything, and then one thing fell outside of the box, and then they're like, okay, sorry, you're out. But they're like, I am a mortgage broker, so we're approved with probably 50 or 60 different banks. So we have 50 or 60 different boxes that we can put you in to find the very best to make sure it can work for you.
Okay.
Which we did.
Yeah, it was
and
awesome.
Here we are.
It all worked out. And it was like timing, but we found you like right after like our due diligence period was done.
Right.
And I was like, do I take my deposit back and tell them that we can't do this? Oh, heck no.
Right.
Like
and you have a very unique property that you found for you. Like this is the property that you wanted for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
So you're willing to fight for it.
Oh, for sure. You decide that you're not going anywhere and you're going to make it happen.
Yes.
So it was fun. Would you agree possibly that it's a lot of work for people to get a loan?
It can be a lot of work. Okay. So, I mean, self-employment, if you're self-employed, which so many people are, it does add a layer of extra that we have to be diligent about. But loans don't have to be as stressful as people make them. Like you went through 6 weeks before you came to me, and then we got it done in 3 weeks. And I'm sure that there are a few things that you remember that were like, oh, I can't believe this is something we have to do.
Questions. Yeah. Like they really wanted to see the actual like deposit slip and the check stub associated with the deposit just to confirm that these really were all
Yes.
legitimate.
So there's a lot of fraud in mortgages because people want to buy things that they don't qualify for.
Okay.
And so Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have put so many guidelines, like they want proof that all these are real, because before we required proof, people were making up pay stubs. They were making up tax returns
Oh, wow.
to qualify for things that they didn't.
It's so hard to like make sure you got your ducks in the order to present it. I can't imagine just having the chaos in your mind to
I love
like create
it. I think
things.
because my brain just works that way. I just love it.
Yeah, no, but it's good. But it's just there's so many moving parts, and to bring it all together is awesome.
Yeah.
When a family is moving, like we uprooted our family, like our lifestyle, like we moved everything, our home, our business, our herd. We changed friends. We moved to Lehigh. We were checking all of our boxes. And I think even the due diligence period, that is dependent upon the new homeowner, right?
Yeah.
You can only ask so many questions, and you have to be dependent upon the answers that you're receiving.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknown that goes into home buying, and it is like the biggest purchase you'll ever make, right?
Yeah.
Like you can go and buy a car and drive it 75 times before you decide to buy it. And when you go to buy a house, you walk in like maybe 3 times before you actually buy the house. And
Yeah.
it's a different process for sure.
Do you think it's easy, like, for a family to go through the due diligence process and deal with the loans? We've just found a circumstance with ourselves with the city. I think. Does that make
So
sense?
usually the due diligence process, I'm not involved with a ton. The realtors actually help you through that more than a loan officer does. But there are a lot of things that you have to make sure are okay for you before you move in. Lots have to do with HOAs or city requirements to have a business in their home.
Yeah.
Or rental, if you're going to rent part of your property out, you have to see if that's allowed. There's so many things that the cities control when you move into
I
their
honestly
city.
think the cities are what, like, throw a bad jab into anything.
A wrench, yes.
Yeah, because a wrench into anything, because you can apply for a federal EIN number and start a business to report to the federal government. You can set up a business with the state and you're good to go. But once you are in a city, it just gets complicated.
Yeah, every city has their own set of rules,
Yes.
and sometimes they're not completely clear, and so you might get answers that you think are fine, and then down the road it changes.
So that's where we're at, but we're super excited to be here. I think we're making headway, and I'm not gonna be told that I can't be here because we're here to make a difference.
You're here, and
we're
you
here to raise
you
our
moved here
family.
because you love the community and you love the property, and it worked for your family.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's very exciting to see how there's just so many moving parts for my family to be successful. We had to meet Leslie. We had to have a loan officer in our life. And I think it just goes to show that you need to have somebody in your corner that's willing to ask the hard questions.
Right.
And to do some legwork for you, because we're all interconnected and we're here to work together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Thanks, Leslie.
You're welcome.
So if you guys have any questions about loans or looking to move your family, Leslie Moss is great. She's the expert loan lady. She has an awesome history in my book of doing business with her, and I just learned a lot from her, and I'm so grateful that she's been able to help our family move into this home to make Lehigh City our forever hometown.